Hi and welcome back to the second segment of our Q&A section. As I said, you were so good at sending in so many questions that we've had to break this up into several chunks, and we look forward to hearing even more of your questions because we'll do this again. So let's get on with the second set of questions.
Next one is, will it be possible to store other forms of cryptocurrency on the new Scotcoin wallet?
No. Simple as that. No. It's only for Scotcoin, this one. Frankly, anything else is a security risk. We will not be taking risks with security.
Next one is, will the new wallet have any NFC technology built in?
Eventually, but not on day one, because our imperatives, as I've stated before, are a simple, stable, usable, tested product on day one. Yes, NFC will be brought in, but later, not now. So next question we've got here is, will there be a conversion tool in the wallet to show the value of balances and transactions in sterling euros?
And the short answer is, again, not on the initial release for reasons mentioned above. But this will be a high priority. It's obviously very useful to have an idea of what the value of what you're holding is rather than having to work it out. Okay, next one is, this is a very, very quick answer to this. Will there be a sustained marketing campaign associated with launch? And if so, will it target an offline audience via newspaper ads, ad boards, etc., as well as online?
And the answer to that is a resounding yes. We need to get not only the online audience, the connected audience, but the sector of the population that is not normally online, because this is for all of the people of Scotland, whether you're a geek, a non-geek, whether you're never off Facebook, never away from your computer, or it's you only use your phone for phoning. This is for everybody and needs to appeal to everybody.
Next one. With the threatened closure of bank branches in rural areas, have you considered targeting specific towns, for example, a weekend setting up a stall, getting locals interested in the alternative that is Scotcoin?
Yes, and that's all part of the marketing programme, one of the many strands of our marketing programme.
Now this one requires a little bit of in-depth, I think. You stated there will be a limit on wallet balances until AML approved. How will transactions exceeding this amount be handled? For example, will the money leave the wallet at all? Will the transaction simply not be approved and return to your wallet once you log back in? Or will it be pending until the recipient becomes AML approved?
An interesting question. However, we need to state that at the moment, with the existing Scotcoin, yes, once you want to buy over a certain amount, we need to do KYC AML checks. To take part in the new Scotcoin, everybody will have to be KYC AML approved. So yes, if you're going to use Scotcoin in the future, you need to be KYC AML approved. And that's a very simple process indeed. At its simplest, we simply need proof of who you are and where you are, some photo ID and some proof of address. That's all we need to start with.
And I think the important point here is that it's not going to be a part transfer. It's going to have to be the whole amount, but you will have to be KYC and AML approved first before
yes,
you can do
you can't transfer anything on V3. You cannot work in V3 at all unless you're KYC AML approved. That's different right now at the present, because we have our own KYC AML procedures that we put in, and they were as much for our own protection as anybody else's, so we could not be accused of money laundering. We chose the arbitrary figure of £200 a week. No serious money launderer is going to bother with less than that, so we're pretty safe that way. But all that will be gone. It'll be very simple. If you're going to use a new Scotcoin, you're going to have to be approved first, and that will be very easy in many cases. So, and the next question is, you mentioned that talks are still ongoing with the Scottish Government regarding donation of the Scotcoin IP for the use of the people of Scotland. What does this mean for EU investors or investors from other countries? Temple?
Well, the very simple answer to that is that cryptocurrencies have absolutely no boundaries whatsoever. They can be transferred anywhere and everywhere. No holders anywhere will be disadvantaged, whether you're in the EU, whether you're in China, whether you're anywhere. You will still be able to transact on our blockchain as long as you have been KYC and AML approved. Otherwise, you simply won't be able to even get on board. Simple as that. This is quite a long question. You write regarding KYC, we need to get you KYC checked as per our current system to prove you are who you say you are, obviously. How and when will that take place? Right now, it seems the only way you're allowing that is by requiring Scotcoin holders to buy through the Scotcoin site. Is that correct? As I mentioned above, I have held Scotcoin since the Bittrex listing.
Okay, so to answer this particular questioner, we have to say that's not quite correct. And as I said in the previous answer, at the moment, if you buy more than a certain amount on the exchange, £200 worth per week, you have to become KYC approved. Again, this is to prevent us being accused of facilitating money laundering. If you bought less than £200 a week, we don't bother with KYC. This will all change when we move to version 3. As I say, the consensus mechanism requires that we be able to identify all users. So we're encouraging people to become KYC approved in advance, as it were, by providing photo ID and proof of current address. Again, I stress, when we move to the new blockchain, everybody will need to be KYC approved.
It would be quite helpful if people who are not KYC approved, and you will know whether you have already been or not, actually began to send us in material to actually enable us to KYC you before the changeover, because otherwise we're going to get hit with a huge number all on the same day, which wouldn't be quite so good.
Yeah, there will inevitably be some delays because of that, and if we can get people to pre-approve themselves beforehand, then that'll lessen that load.
Okay, next one. Can Scotcoin, the new Scotcoin, be locked to a specific purposes or locked to exclude certain purchases?
No, use it for whatever you want. So the next point is there are government initiatives relating to a universal wage, entitlements, etc., and blockchain technology which could assist teachers in an educational environment. Could Scotcoin be used as an aid or incentive to learning about real-world arithmetic, maths, applications, and basic money management?
Yes, we're already in discussion with several major academic institutions about a wide variety of initiatives involving Scotcoin and related technologies. In the simplest form, a student might have to log in at a conference or at a, what do they call those things again? When they go, Seminar, or yeah, at a tutorial or whatever. And if they don't do that, they might then be stopped from actually being allowed to take the exams. So that is one system we're looking at the moment for one of the universities. In the same breath, what about parental controls on wallets for children and so on?
Well, personally, I think if young people have been given the coin or earned it, it's entirely up to them how they spend it. Again, there is nothing to stop a third party making a wallet which could incorporate parental features, parental control features. If that's what the market wants, somebody will come up with it. So the next thing, continuing on the topic of presentation, has any thought been given to the actual Scotcoin numbers, the token, how the tokens held in an address are presented to the user?
Our intention is to limit the number of digits displayed on the wallet and round up or down so a sensible number of decimal places are displayed. Certainly not as many as Bitcoin, for example, that is to the 8th decimal place, and being honest means very little to most people. So the fewer digits we can display, the better.
We want to make this as friendly and usable for the average person in the street, as opposed to appealing to the geeks who are really interested in exactly how many satoshis they've got. It's real world problems we want to deal with. Okay,
the next one. I purchased some Scotcoin about a year ago and want to understand how the new blockchain will affect my current Scotcoin and its value, if any. Do I need to do anything to my existing Scotcoin, or will they automatically go onto the new blockchain?
Well, if you migrate your coins, and we can't force you to do this, but we're certainly going to make it advantageous for you to do so, then your existing coin will transfer onto the new blockchain. We believe the value of the Scotcoin you hold after migration will be much higher than at present, so there's a good reason for migrating. However, should you choose not to migrate, your existing Scotcoin remains unaffected and simply carries on as it does at the moment.
Are we to expect changes in the blockchain every 3 to 5 years or so?
No, we don't expect any further changes. We will get it right. We will do very extensive beta testing to make sure we've got it right, and when we're happy with that, we will release it.
Have lessons been learned and recorded from the last migration and from this time?
Well, the present management, most of who you see here right now, were not involved at all when Scotcoin moved to the counterparty protocol, so we can't comment about any lessons learnt then. So although there will be incentives for early migration, there will never be a time when you will not be able to migrate your existing Scotcoin to the new blockchain. So we don't anticipate answering any questions about, help, I've lost my Scotcoin because I didn't migrate it, because you're always going to be able to migrate your Scotcoin now. There will be no cut-off date. It will always be possible to migrate your Scotcoin to version 3.
Well, there we are. That's the end of our second section. Thank you very much for coming and listening to us, and we hope to hear from you all with many more questions, and we hope to be able to answer all of them as well. Thank you.
Thank you.